Love, it's a powerful emotion. It can make us feel happy, sad, angry, even crazy. This story is about love. Love gone wrong, very wrong. It's about a love so intense it turned deadly. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. Love can be a dangerous game. Our story begins with two people. They met, fell in love, like many couples. Their love seemed real, passionate, but underneath something dark was brewing, an obsession. This obsession grew, twisted their love into something ugly. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a nightmare. We will explore the lives of these lovers. We will unravel the events that led to a tragic end. This is a story about the thin line between love and obsession. A line that, once crossed, can have devastating consequences. Get ready. It's a bumpy ride, a chilling tale of passion, obsession, and murder. This story is a cautionary tale. It reminds us that love, unchecked, can morph into a dangerous force, a force that can destroy lives. It urges us to be vigilant, to recognize the signs of unhealthy obsession, to seek help before it's too late. Let's begin. They met at a party. She, a vibrant young woman full of life. He, charming, attentive. They were drawn to each other. Their connection was undeniable. Sparks flew. Laughter filled the air. They were the perfect match. Or so it seemed. He showered her with gifts, compliments. She was swept off her feet. Their romance blossomed. They were inseparable, spending every moment together. Their families and friends were happy. They seemed destined for a happy ending. But fate had other plans. Beneath the surface, his love was possessive. He craved her constant attention. He became jealous easily. Any interaction with other men enraged him. She, blinded by love, dismissed his possessiveness as passion, a sign of his deep love for her. She ignored the warning signs. He started controlling her, isolating her from friends and family. He dictated her every move. Slowly, her life revolved solely around him. Her world shrunk. Her once vibrant spirit dimmed. The seeds of tragedy were sown. This was just the beginning. Her friends noticed the change. She was withdrawn, subdued. Her laughter was gone. Her eyes, once bright, now held a haunted look. They tried to intervene, to pull her away from his suffocating grip, but he had her under his spell. She pushed them away, defending him fiercely. His jealousy intensified. He accused her of infidelity. His accusations were unfounded, fueled by his paranoia. He stalked her, checked her phone, interrogated her relentlessly. Her life became a prison. She was trapped in a web of his making, a web of obsession and control. The arguments escalated, from whispers to shouts, from accusations to threats. He became physically abusive, leaving bruises on her body and soul. He apologized, begged for forgiveness. She forgave him, hoping he would change. But the cycle continued. The violence escalated. She tried to leave him, several times, but he always lured her back. With promises, with pleas, with threats. She was caught in a vicious cycle, unable to break free. Her fear paralyzed her. She was a bird with clipped wings, desperate to escape but unable to fly. He became increasingly erratic, his behavior unpredictable. His paranoia consumed him. His words sent chills down her spine, but she was too afraid to act, too afraid to alert the authorities. She was caught in a nightmare, one she couldn't wake up from. He started following her everywhere, to work, to the grocery store, even to her doctor's appointments. He listened to her phone calls, read her emails. She felt suffocated, trapped, like a prisoner in her own life. His words were laced with chilling menace. Her fear morphed into terror. She knew she had to escape, but how? One night he snapped. Fueled by jealousy and paranoia, he accused her of betraying him. She denied it, but unfortunately, her words fell on deaf ears. He was too far gone, consumed by his own twisted reality. He saw only enemies, only threats. And then, he attacked her. This time, it was different. This time, there was a chilling finality in his eyes. She fought back, but her struggles were futile. He was stronger, fueled by a terrifying rage. He wouldn't stop. He couldn't stop. He took her life, a life full of promise, a life snuffed out in a moment of madness. He left her there, lifeless, a victim of his obsession. He fled, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror. The nightmare was real, and it had a devastating ending. The news spread like wildfire. Shock, disbelief, and grief engulfed the community. Her family was shattered, her friends heartbroken. The man who had vowed to love and protect her had become her executioner. Love had turned into a death sentence. The police launched a manhunt. He was a fugitive, running from the law, running from himself. His face plastered on every news channel, his name whispered in fear. He became the subject of nightmares, the monster hiding in plain sight, the man who had shattered so many lives. He was eventually captured, hiding in a seedy motel on the outskirts of town. He looked disheveled, defeated, the fire of obsession extinguished, replaced by the cold reality of his actions. He was booked on charges of murder. His fate now rested in the hands of the justice system. Her family and friends were left to pick up the pieces to grapple with the unimaginable loss. Their lives forever scarred, haunted by the what-ifs and the whys. They struggled to reconcile the man they thought they knew with the monster he had become. Their pain was palpable. The community was shaken to its core. The story served as a chilling reminder of the dark side of human nature, the fragility of life, and the devastating consequences of unchecked obsession. The case became a local legend, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones. The trial was a media frenzy. Reporters and spectators flocked to the courtroom, eager to witness the legal drama unfold. The prosecution painted a picture of a controlling, abusive man driven by jealousy and paranoia. They presented a mountain of evidence, texts, emails, witness testimonies, all pointing to his guilt. The defense argued he was mentally unstable, a victim of his own delusions. They claimed he wasn't in control of his actions, that he loved her in his own twisted way. They pleaded for leniency, for a verdict of manslaughter, not murder. The courtroom was a battleground of emotions and legal arguments. The jury deliberated for days, weighing the evidence, the arguments, the pleas. The tension in the courtroom was thick enough to cut with a knife. Finally, the verdict came. Guilty. Guilty of murder in the first degree. A collective gasp swept through the courtroom. Justice had been served. He was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. His life, like hers, forever altered. He would spend his remaining days behind bars, haunted by the consequences of his actions. The story, however, didn't end there. The ripples of this tragedy continued to spread. The case sparked conversations about domestic violence, mental health, and the dangers of unchecked obsession. It forced people to confront uncomfortable truths about the dark side of human nature. It highlighted the importance of recognizing warning signs and seeking help. It became a catalyst for change. Support groups saw an increase in calls. Victims, emboldened by the case, came forward to share their stories. The community rallied, organizing awareness campaigns, fundraising for shelters. The tragedy, though devastating, brought about a wave of awareness and action, a glimmer of hope in the face of darkness. The case served as a stark reminder that love can be a double-edged sword. It can bring joy, comfort, and companionship, but it can also lead to possessiveness, control, and violence. The line between love and obsession is thin, easily blurred. It is a line we must all be wary of crossing. This story urges us to be vigilant, to pay attention to red flags, to support those in need, to speak out against abuse, to remember that love should never come at the cost of freedom, safety, or life. We must learn from this tragedy. We must strive to prevent such horrors from happening again. The story of this obsessive killer teaches us valuable lessons about the nature of love, obsession, and the importance of awareness. It reminds us that love should never come at the cost of personal freedom, safety, or life itself. We must be vigilant, recognize the signs of unhealthy obsession, and seek help before it's too late. This tragedy underscores the need for open communication in relationships. Partners should feel safe to express their feelings, concerns, and fears. It's crucial to build relationships on trust, respect, and equality. Control, manipulation, and abuse have no place in a healthy relationship. This story also highlights the importance of mental health awareness. Untreated mental illness can have devastating consequences, not just for the individual, but for those around them as well. It's crucial to seek professional help when needed, to break down the stigma surrounding mental illness and encourage open conversations about mental well-being. The case serves as a chilling reminder that violence is never the answer. It's a destructive force that leaves lasting scars on individuals, families, and communities. We must work together to create a society that promotes peace, understanding, and respect. A society where love is a source of joy, not fear. This story, though deeply disturbing, is a powerful reminder of the complexities of human relationships. It's a tale of love gone wrong, of obsession spiraling out of control, and the devastating consequences of unchecked emotions. It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished reading it. It's a story that urges us to be mindful of our own relationships, to be aware of the fine line between love and obsession, to intervene when we see signs of abuse, to seek help when we need it, to remember that love should be a source of strength, not destruction. Let this story be a catalyst for change. Let it spark conversations about healthy relationships, mental health awareness, and the prevention of violence. Let it remind us that we all have a role to play in creating a safer, more compassionate world. The Obsessive Killer's tale is a tragedy, a cautionary tale, and a call to action. It's a story that forces us to confront the dark side of human nature. But it also reminds us of the power of awareness, intervention, and the enduring human spirit.